What's going on, everybody? It's One back with another beer review. And tonight, you can probably guess by my shirt and the title of the video, but tonight we're doing Cthulu. It is a black India Pale Ale from the hometown heroes, Cross-Eyed Owl Brewing. And this is something I think their founder and brewmaster Trey Atwood is pretty proud of, because that he brews it specifically for their anniversary release, and they make a t-shirt for it, and you get a poster. You know, I already put a video out about the swag. I'm just not getting around to the review, but yeah, this seems to be like the prized beer of Cross-Eyed Owl, or XCO as they're affectionately known. Indicator. They have a scale system on the back of their cans, so for people that are not familiar with beer, they'll know what they're getting. It's all the way on the color scale, 4 out of 5 glasses on the malt body scale, all the way up on the bitterness scale, all the way up on hop aroma, and then all the way up on hop flavor. So it's very bitter, very aromatic, very flavorful, and then they put on the back of the can a quote from H.P. Lovecraft, which, for those of you who are not familiar with Cthulhu, I'm not either, so I don't want to pretend like I am, but Cthulhu is like a half dragon, half octopus creature in classic horror, and H.P. Lovecraft created Cthulhu. I don't know much else about Cthulhu, but here is a quote from H.P. Lovecraft. The thing that cannot be described. There is no language for such abysms of shrieking and excuse me, this is a weird word. Immemorial lunacy, such eldritch contradictions of all matter, force, and cosmic order. H.P. Lovecraft. This thing is 10% ABV. So you're definitely not meant to session this thing. You know, this would be more for late at night, cracking open a book, you know, an H.P. Lovecraft book, and just sipping away on this as you turn the pages. But you know, drink the beer how you want to drink it. Who am I to tell you what's sessionable and what's not sessionable? We'll have our trusty XCO glass. And for those of you watching who may not have watched my Call to Arms video, or you need a reminder, or you're new to the channel, if you live in Decatur or you can get to Cross-Eyed Owl, they are doing curbside service from 12 to 4 Monday through Friday. And I just picked up a growler of Old Cuts just today. Pretty simple process. They came out to me. I didn't even have to call. I called ahead, but then they said once I pulled up I didn't have to call again. And came out to me. I have 2 growlers. I gave them one of my growlers. They went in there, filled it, came back after about 2 or 3 minutes. You know, made the transaction. They had a portable debit card. You know, it's a real easy process, so don't be scared. Get over your social anxiety or whatever is holding you back from trying some really good beer from Cross-Eyed Owl. Go down there if you live in a reasonable distance from the brewery. Okay, so while I was on my soapbox, the head did dissipate. I don't feel like there was a lot of head on here. Big ABV beers usually don't produce a lot of head, although those big Belgian quad dark ales definitely can produce a lot of head. So don't be misled by the ABV when it comes to head retention all the time. So it says on the can a black double India Pale Ale. Well, this is not black. I would hearken this to tea, a very dark tea. It's very murky, very murky. I mean, it's like a very dark brown, like just a super dark brown. It almost goes black in the middle, but it highlights in brown and looks like tea almost around the outside. Get some action in here. There's definitely bubbles rising up. I'm gonna assume there's particulate matter in here. Yeah, there's stuff floating around in here. Not sure what it is. Could be hop particulate, maybe some malt. I don't know. But yeah, this thing's definitely looking like tea, hardcore. So this thing is pretty strange. I've never had a black double IPA before I had this thing. It's a very, very unique aroma. It's like a mix between roast and smoke almost. And then it's pretty balanced between the malt and the roast and the malt, what makes it black. And then the hop aroma. I'm not sure what hops they used in here. Very on the piney side, grassy, earthy hops. It's wild how it keeps changing. So sometimes I'll go in and I'll get more of the hop aroma. Sometimes I'll go in and I get more of the smoke and the malt and the roast aspect. Very interesting beer. I'm not sure if I get much else, but it's just a huge beer. I would love to see what the ppm measurement was for this beer. It just feels like, it smells like there's so much in here. So yeah, it's exactly what I expected it to be when I had it for the first time, and it's still the same flavor again, even after. I'd say the beer is about a month old, going on a month old at least, since the time it was canned. And I don't feel like it changed much since then. I wasn't scared to kind of sit on this review for a little bit because of the high ABV. I feel like that would hold up. And the hops have subdued just a little bit on the palate here, but not enough really to make a difference. It still feels like when I had it fresh, because I think I cracked open one of the cans night one. It's malty and strong. I feel like now I'd love to sit down with Trey Atwood and pick his brain. I am by no means no expert. I'm just kind of shooting off the top. I'm just kind of, you know, I don't know what they used. I could be way off, but I feel like it tastes like that he probably used a caramel malt variety and just roasted the heck out of it. I don't know if they roast their own malt there, but it seems like he picked a really super roasted, smoked caramel malt. Because I get a faint hint of like caramel malt and not something black, like a real dark malt. And I think that kind of contributes to the color, maybe. You know, and then there's also the possibility that they use caramel and a black or dark malt. So that's always a possibility as well. And then, like, one more sip so I can articulate. So kind of like riding... I want to say the feature in this beer is the hop presence. I feel like throughout the whole beer, I'm getting that grassy, earthy, piney hop presence in this beer. It kind of rides through the entire beer, the entire experience, and even into the swallows where the bitterness kind of lingers. And then kind of on top of that, kind of layering on top of that bedrock of hop flavor and aroma is what I either think is extremely roasted caramel malt or a blend of different kind of malts in here. It has 4 out of 5 on the malt body, so good chance to probably blended, you know, a couple grains together, a couple varieties. So one reason I sat on this review is because I'm biased towards Cross-Eyed Owl. I'll go ahead and put it out there. I don't want to sacrifice the integrity of this channel and the integrity of my reviews and my opinion for the sake of trying to build up a brewery that just, you know, I have a lot of sentimental value and appreciation for. Because you never know who's watching these videos, and I'm just so terrified to offend people that have given me something that I appreciate and love. You know, I love this brewery, and I'm glad they're in Decatur, because to my knowledge, Decatur hasn't had a brewery in ever. So what I'm trying to say is, it's just hard for me to recommend this beer. I really don't even want to talk about a rating or recommendations. But I will go forward with it. I can't recommend this to anybody really. I think Black Double IPA is such a novelty thing. You know, they got the novelty marketing with Cthulu and the shirt and the can. And I just think Black Double IPA is so unique that I think it's going to take a special drinker, a special person to like and enjoy this. I'm not going to say that means nobody can enjoy this. I'm drinking this beer and it's not half bad. This is my 3rd can of this. But again, it's just so, I mean, it leans towards black ale, but then it comes back to IPA at the same, like balanced IPA at the same time. Like, it's just, this beer is all over the place. And so I'm just going to say, as far as a recommendation, if you love Cross-Eyed Owl, if you love Black Double IPAs, if you love really hoppy beer, if you love caramel drops, caramel chews, as I call them, in your beers, with hop presence, try this beer. I can't recommend this to definitely can't recommend this to somebody, you know, who would be drinking their first craft beer ever. I couldn't recommend this to somebody who prefers drinking gozas and sours over any other style. This is just such a unique beer. However, it's not terrible. It's an acquired taste for sure. This beer. This is my 3rd can out of my 4-pack, and I'm just gonna have to admit it's taken to my 3rd can. It's taken me to my 3rd can to get used to this beer. However, I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I sat on this beer and really tried to understand everything about it before I came on here. You know, just raw first reaction to this beer. I want to preface this rating by saying this beer is exactly what it's trying to be. It is a black double India Pale Ale to a T. I mean, he nailed it. As far as, you know, Trey or whoever they had brew this concoction, when they set out to make a black double IPA, they made one. So I want to be a little fair in that if I was to be objective about this beer, I think I would rate it a little higher. There's no off flavors. I am getting the black ale side of this thing. I am getting the double IPA side of this thing. It is a really well balanced beer. However, it's just not for me. I think maybe you could probably tell that all video. I've not necessarily tried to hide that. One more sip. I'm going to give it a 2.75 out of 5. I hate doing that because Cross-Eyed Owl seems to be proud of Cthulhu. And I don't want it to seem like I'm speaking ill will over this beer. Please understand that I rate every beer based on personal preference. It is my own opinion. I'm not really trying to be objective. I'm not really trying to rate these as I would if I were a BJCP certified judge. This is just my own preference, my own rating. And so I feel like I can appreciate this beer enough to call it above average and say it's an okay beer. But I'm not crazy about it, nor is it a terrible beer either. I just end on this. This is a novelty beer, and I think only special people or mega fans of Cross-Eyed Owl would appreciate this beer. And that about wraps it up for me tonight. This beer review: Cthulu, Cross-Eyed Owl, 2.75 out of 5. Until next time, guys. Cheers.